All right, so let's talk about the Brain Bag and the Synik 30. So the Brain Bag is one of the beefier, quote unquote, laptop bags that Bihn offers. It has a sheer amount, what it sacrifices in organization, it just has a sheer amount of space. It can hold up to 4 laptops, I think is what they say, and probably more if you were carrying around a bunch of MacBook Pros. The Synik is much more like the Synapse in that it focuses more on organization, kind of clean lines, and kind of an overall cleaner aesthetic. So let's compare and contrast these things because these are very similar bags in some ways. They're both backpacks after all, but very different in others. Let's talk about the look. So the Synik, much like the Synapse, it's just a very similar look. It looks slightly different because, well, they moved the patch from up here to down here, very similar to the Brain Bag. And I think that Chase Reeves puts it best when he says that it looks kind of dad baggish. It's not the most stylish bag. I think the Synik really enhances that a little bit, and it's really all in the subtle detail. It looks pretty much the same to most people, I'm sure, but I've noticed that when this is fuller, it's a little more squared off. The Brain Bag, I'm just going to say, is a straight up weird looking bag. Some people would call it ugly, and I would say that's kind of fair. It's not, if you have a color other than black, it's not symmetrical, and I really like the symmetry. I like symmetry in general, but this mesh pocket kind of blocks off the color. So it has a very kind of technical, almost industrial look to it. This one was designed for beefiness and just holding a bunch of stuff, which it really does really well. And it kind of looks it too, in my opinion. So let's talk about the organization on the front. So the Brain Bag has 3 main pockets, right here, one here, which can hold just a ton of stuff. I could, unlike my putting my toiletry kit in here, I can fit just this in here, no problem, without having to kind of stuff it in. And the same thing over here, just a different pocket, just a humongous pocket with a few slots in here, and probably some O-rings. Here's an O-ring, and let's see, here's an O-ring. Not much of an O-ring guy, so I don't exactly know where they are. And perhaps most unusual, they have the water bottle pocket, if you could call it that. You could either stick it in one of these, or you can just put the water bottle on the front like this. And then if you have a hook on the top, which I would recommend if you use it with the Brain Bag, you do. This thing falls out if I use it with it. You can put that hook and hook it to this thing right here. This also has like what I call a sunglasses pocket. It's just a little pocket for sunglasses. And I am not... Nope, there's a couple. I was going to say I'm not seeing any O-rings, but there's one right here that I see. And so usually, believe it or not, I put my sunglasses in there. This one has a little bit more on the organizational side. I really like that the water bottle pocket is on the inside, not the outside. And this thing has, as I've mentioned in my other reviews, a deceptive amount of room. Same with the Synapse. Same with these side pockets here. These are very similar to the Synapse in that they're just humongous and that they hold a lot. So if you're really a geek for organization, this is a bag that really focuses on organization. This is a bag that focuses on just sheer stuff, but it does have a little bit of organization. One thing about the Brain Bag that is different from their other backpacks is that it has 2 major main pockets. So it has a main pocket here and then it has a main pocket here. So I'm going to open these up, and like the Synapse, these zippers go all the way to the side. I'm going to go ahead and undo one of those compression straps. This one too. So when it lacks an organization, it just makes up in sheer space. This thing is just cavernous. Usually how I carry it is I have my cache, because you've got a couple of cache loops right here. I have my cache sitting here against my back so that it kind of flattens it out. And then I have my Freudian slip in the other pocket. I usually don't use most of the room in this. I've also used this as a bag to kind of just cart stuff, laundry and stuff between my house and my girlfriend's house. But not much to say on the inside, except that they're just humongous. This is 36 liters after all. This is 30, so there's just a ton of space. This one, of course, has the soon-to-be very popular clamshell design. So one big main pocket, roughly the same amount of space, just a little bit less in terms of literage, 30 liters as opposed to 36, but some more organizational choices. You have a dedicated laptop sleeve. If you're carrying around the Brain Bag with you might be carrying it around with more than one laptop. That might be a good use of it for it if you're carrying it around with 2 or even 3. You could do the same thing here if you wanted to, probably, but you have 1 pocket to choose from as opposed to 2. Worth noting that this is also lined in halcyon, whereas the Brain Bag is only available in ballistic and is lined with 210 ballistic right here. This is black ballistic with cloud ballistic on the inside. Both of them have the option of using a Freudian slip with them. I have my Freudian slip for my Synapse/Synik here, and I have my Brain Bag's Freudian slip right here. This one's more square because this bag is more square. This one is more in the shape of the Synapse, and I bet you the Freudian slip would go, yeah, this one fits snugly in. Might start using this one, actually. I like the way the color matches, and it has just a little more space. So both of those things, both Freudian slips are available for both bags. Let's talk about the construction of the top of the bags. As I mentioned in my other review, the carry handle for the Synik is just different. It's constructed more along the lines of the TriStar and the Western Flyer, the side handle there, and it just looks really nice. This is a really beefy, foamy handle here. And because the Brain Bag was designed to hold more, this doesn't really surprise me. This one is just really padded. Generally speaking, though, I don't really need the padding on the top. I like the nicer looking aesthetic of the smaller thing here. And then going to the back, you couldn't be more different from two backpacks. These handles kind of come straight down, which is not a bad thing. But you notice that they're kind of just like attached with this nylon webbing on the side, just to the side of the bag here. Whereas this, they kind of curve out and then attach with just a little bit of nylon webbing on the other side. I find that this bag, and same as the Synapse, is just more comfortable to carry in general because I like the way the shape is. But when I don't carry a huge amount of stuff in both, so I really don't notice the difference. The other thing worth mentioning is the straps. I'd say that this thing has a soft exterior, kind of like the Synik, but the Synik's exterior on the bottom here is a lot more smooth. The texturing just feels superior. This just feels like a more premium strap. And the difference in carrying is palpable. I can tell the difference between carrying this, which is really padded with really thick premium foam, and this one, which is more like a standard backpack strap, but is still very comfortable. Overall, these bags both have a place in the Tom Bihn lineup. This one, the Brain Bag, has been around for a long time. It is very beefy, it holds a ton, and is overall just a great backpack. But I will always reach for my Synapse or Synik first. I like the extra organization, and I like the look of it a little bit better, actually quite a bit better. They're two different bags for different purposes. I like that this one has a built-in laptop sleeve. I only carry one laptop, so that makes sense for me. This one I have to use with my cash, not a problem, but I do like the integrated backpack sleeve here, and then just putting my, my other cash inside of the other cash loops up here. Overall, both great bags. This is probably going to be, this one's cheaper than the Synapse 25 and is probably going to, I think is $200 as a time of recording. This one is probably going to be more expensive than that. So that might be something that you're looking for. If price is going to make a big difference, then you probably look towards the Synapse or the Brain Bag. Overall, both great bags, slightly different purposes, but worth comparing to talk about the contrast between the two. Personally, I'll always reach for the Synik/Synapse over the Brain Bag, but this one totally has a place in my closet and in my life.